Hey guys, what's going on? Evo here, bringing you more Clash Royale. And since my last video with the all commons strategy, I've ranked up, got more trophies, quite a bit more trophies for this season. As you can see, I'm at 3471. In NA, I think I'm ranked 116 or something like that. But the build that I'm using right now, everyone's going to call it cheap, and everybody's going to say, well, why do you use that? You're such a noob, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, using the mortar. But the mortar build I'm using isn't 100% reliable on the mortar. I mean, it is the majority of the deck, same with the rocket, but my troops can still get to the enemy towers, and they can still do a chunk of damage, like the barbarians and the goblins and all that stuff. They still do a chunk of damage to the enemy towers. I just use the mortar and the rocket to just finish off the tower. But again, everybody says it's cheap, but it kind of forced my hand. The meta kind of shifted in a way that this build, it works for right now. Anyways, I know a lot of people using the P.E.K.K.A. freeze, Hog freeze, all that type of stuff. But this deck works well against those decks, unless the person you're going up against is really, really skilled and really knows how to put perfect placement on all their troops. So I want to show you a few replays to just show you that this build's just not, you just don't place mortars and you win. That's not how it is. There is skill involved. I will tell you that much. It's not just you place mortars and win. So the first one I'm going to show you is this one here. We're going to watch this one really quick. And we're up against a level 11 X-Res. So, and he's using a loon freeze build. Very popular. Freeze is like one of the most popular spells in the game right now. So I start off with the barbarians in the back. I like to start off with them a lot in the back. I usually either start off with barbarians, goblins, spear goblins, or something like that in the back. I do start off with the mortar here because he just kind of left himself wide open for it. But he does counter me with the balloon, and I counter that balloon with my archers. And there he goes, uses a freeze spell. I go ahead and counter that freeze spell with the spear goblins. And then my troops these troops will get to the tower. I try to make my goblins run in front to tank a little bit, and those goblins get right to the tower. So the only mortar, I think the mortar got off one shot. The rest I've just been using my troops. So here again, I'm going to use the mortar because he kind of opened himself again for it. And it's going to attack the Valkyrie instead. And then I think it'll get one shot off on the tower before he go ahead and summons his balloon. And then I rocket in the back for the elixir collector because I don't want him getting any more elixir. He's going to go ahead and take out this tower right here with the balloon because he's going to freeze. I really don't have a counter to that right now, so I just let it go. So the loon gets some damage on my crown tower, so I go ahead and put down some archers. I'm probably going to follow that up with barbarians. And the archers do get some chip damage on that tower. So I go ahead and follow up with barbarians. And then he follows up with a Valkyrie in the back. And I kind of get screwed at this point, but then I go ahead and put up an Inferno tower. Take out the Valkyrie. And his musketeer kind of gets there. And I put down a mortar with the against the musketeer, and then I get a few chip shots done with the goblins and the mortar, not just the mortar. And then I go ahead and counter his loon with my spear goblins, and then I counter his P.E.K.K.A. with the Inferno tower. And there you go, see my troops on the left side. It was my troops that took down the tower, not the mortar. The mortar played a little role, but it was the troops that took down the tower. So it's not just the mortar. The troops do have stuff to do with it. So I go ahead and counter his balloon on the right side with my archers and spear goblins. He go ahead and arrows, but that doesn't matter because it was down anyways. I'm going to mortar in the back just to get some chip damage done on that tower and summon some goblins to distract the P.E.K.K.A. until I can get my Inferno Tower down. I made a huge misplay there. I wanted the Inferno Tower to target the P.E.K.K.A. and not the Valkyrie, but I get down a couple of my troops here, summon the Barbarians behind the P.E.K.K.A., and then go to town on his Musketeer and summon my Mortar with my troops, follow up behind, and then I get off a Inferno Tower to take out the balloon, and then I'm just going to summon just hordes of troops here, just troops after troops after troops, and then a Mortar behind them, and he arrows and takes out most of the troops, and then the Mortar is going to do more chip damage on the tower, and he made a big mistake by summoning the P.E.K.K.A. there, and I take out the tower with the rocket. So most of the chip damage on the left side was done by troops, wasn't done by the Mortar. The right side, however, most of the damage was done by the Mortar, so it was kind of half and half, and that was a victory there. I'm going to show you a loss against someone from In the Light, and when the P.E.K.K.A. build is used properly and like against this deck, it annihilates it. So I get 3 crowned here against Sunbiz from In the Lights, one of the top guilds in the world. So I already know this is going to be a tough matchup. Probably going to be a loss. He summons an Elixir Collector there. I summon my Barbarians in the back. I'll probably counter with a Mortar to take out that Elixir Collector, because I'm not going to put it in the front. When someone spawns an Elixir Collector in the middle, I always put my Mortar so it can attack the Elixir Collector. I don't put it in the front near the river. So he summons the minion horde there. I'm going to counter with arrows, and then I'm going to counter with the Inferno Tower. I mean, so far I thought it was going okay until he got his horde on me. So I'm just going to counter his Hog Rider there with a few of my minions. And I'm going to summon some minions here, and they're going to pretty much do some chip damage on that tower. And then he summons an Ice Wizard in response. And I'm going to summon my Barbarians to kind of try and counter the Prince, and then he's going to freeze and pretty much annihilate me from here. So as you can see, that freeze was used properly in a defensive, offensive way. And then I summon the Inferno Tower in response to all of that. And he's going to go ahead and summon another Elixir Collector. I will summon my Mortar in the front because the Elixir Collector wasn't out far enough. So I'll get some chip damage on that tower. I'll summon some Goblins behind that. And I think around here is when he starts to just kind of steamroll me. Let's see. Goblins in response to that. And I'm going to summon Barbarians behind the Ice Wizard. And then I'm going to try to do my arrows, but it's really not enough time, because they've already taken out my Barbarians. Now he's got 2 Elixir Collectors, so I'm going to rocket them, because I don't want him gaining any more Elixir. So he's going to, he's going to start summoning all kinds of horde shit, and I summon just to get more chip damage done. And at this point, I know my rocket can take out his tower, but he just comes roaring back at me. And he's going to freeze there. And I knew that that tower was going down, no question about it. That tower was 100% going down. I shouldn't have summoned the Mortar right there, but it was just a distraction for the Hog Rider. I just rocket his tower just to get a tower down and go into sudden death, but I knew I had already lost from that point, because he just overwhelmed me with all those troops. Now, as you can see, that is the proper way to use the P.E.K.K.A. build against someone who's using the Mortar. So, and then what we'll do here, those are 2 replays showing, you know, the correct way to counter that Mortar, and then showing that the Mortar is not you don't just summon the mortar and win. That's not how it goes. There is a little bit of skill behind it. So we're gonna get into a live battle here. I'm shaky about it because this is actually the highest I've ever been. So we're gonna get into a live battle and see what we can do here against a 3582. Now we're gonna give him a good luck and a thanks as well. So I'm going to start off by summoning Spear Goblins in the back like I usually always do. And he's going to counter with a baby dragon. I'm going to summon some goblins in the back. And I'm going to go ahead and arrow his... And he's going to loon. And we're going to go ahead and Inferno Tower that. Absolutely. And he Ice Wizards. Takes out a couple of my Spear Goblins there. So now at this point, I know he doesn't have a lot of elixir left. So I'm going to go ahead and summon that Mortar. And it's going to do some chip damage on that tower. I don't have a counter for these minions at the moment. So that's going to go down. He's going to summon the Hog Rider, knowing that I don't have any elixir left. And he most likely has a freeze spell. He doesn't. So he's going to summon his Princess here to take out my Goblins. And I'm going to let the Princess target the tower and just summon 2 archers to combat that. I'm going to follow it up with some Spear Goblins behind those archers to just do a little bit more chip damage to that tower. I'm not going to summon my Mortar yet. It doesn't make any sense for me to do that, because I know he's got Pocket Loon, and I know he's got Hog Rider. So I'm going to summon my Barbarians to just take out his Ice Wizard. And there's the Loon. So we're going to summon a Mortar over here so the Loon focuses on the Mortar. I don't have any arrows as of yet, so we're just going to arrow here and take out that Loon. And we're going to go ahead and summon some archers here and then take out that Hog Rider. We're going to summon some Barbarians to counter that, and we're going to go ahead and summon some Spear Goblins in the back, and then I'm not even going to arrow that. I will arrow the Princess, however. And here we're going to summon all of this stuff. So we're going to go ahead and Rocket and Inferno Tower. Take out his tower there. And then we're going to arrow his minions. And we're going to summon the Goblins there. And that's a victory. So a lot of the chip damage came from the minions, not from the Mortar. The Mortar did a little chip damage, but not much. So it's not really all about, it's skill of placement and, how to counter stuff. So it's not just you just place Mortar and you win games. That's not how it works. So if you think it's cheap, I don't blame you. It's a little cheap, I'm not going to lie, but it's working right at this second. So, I mean, how could you not use it? I mean, it's in the game, it's there. I'm using it, it's winning games, and like I said, it's not you just place them and win. There is you gotta have a little bit of a mind to place things correctly and not try and rush your opponent and not waste your elixir and stuff like that. So it's not just you place your stuff, you place that Mortar and you win. So I just wanted to let you guys see that a little bit in action and just say that it's not entirely cheap. And there is some skill to it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Try out that specific build, because a lot of the other Mortar builds use elixir collectors and stuff like that. I like using just straight troops, and then arrows and the rocket. Actually, I'll go over the deck. I got goblins, spear goblins, barbarians, the mortar, the inferno tower, which counters the P.E.K.K.A. extremely well. But when you're using that inferno tower, you got to make sure that it targets the P.E.K.K.A. Because, or else it's pretty much done. It's going to go down and the P.E.K.K.A. is going to rush your face. I got the rocket, the archers, and then the arrows to counter minion hordes and princess, of course, and that's pretty much an auto include in like every deck. Alrighty, hope you guys enjoyed. Try the deck out. It works, you know. See how far up you can get with it. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys next time.